to work with systems applications. We're going to practice writing them and solving them. We're going to do, in this video, we're going to do the odds. The first one, look at the directions. It says, for the following problems, define your variables, write your system, and solve using any method. Number 1 says, Stephen is thinking of two numbers. 4 times the larger plus 2 times the smaller is negative 10. The smaller number is 6 times the larger number plus 3. Find the two numbers. The first thing you want to look at, it says to define your variables. Right here at the end where it says find the two numbers, that's what your variables are going to be, because that's what you're trying to figure out. So I'm going to make x equals and y equals. And the problem is that people try and figure out, well, what am I going to make x and what am I going to make y? Look in the problem. It says a larger number and a smaller number. So those are the words I'm going to use, but it doesn't matter which letter I choose for what. I'm going to make x equal the smaller number. You could have switched it around. It does not matter. Y equal the larger number. Now, if you look in the first sentence, it says 4 times the larger number is y, plus 2 times the smaller number, which is x, means equal negative 10. From those words, I just put letters and numbers. So there's my first equation, 4y plus 2x equals negative 10. The second one said the smaller number, which is x, is 6 times the larger number plus 3. So now I have x equals 6y plus 3. Now, when they tell you can solve this either way, you could go through and solve each one of the equations for y and put it in the calculator. The way it's set up, though, right now very nicely is for substitution, and that's how I'm going to solve this one. So it has x equals, take what x equals and circle it, please. Draw your line. Now it says, oh, wait, what did I do wrong? See how it says 2, what was that supposed to be? Not 2y, it was supposed to be 2x. There we go. See, it's right up there. So I'm going to take this and put it in for x. Make sure you put it in for the right letter. I get 4y plus 2 times, instead of x, what do I put in there? 6y plus 3, and that equals negative 10. Okay, so we've substituted it in. Now we just have to solve our equation. The 4y comes down. 2 times 6, 12y. 2 times 3 is 6, equals negative 10. Put your y's together. 16y plus 6 equals negative 10. I'm going to move my board down a little bit. Subtract 6. 16y equals negative 16. Divide by 16. Y equals negative 1. Okay, so I know my larger number is negative 1. Now, choose one of the two equations. I'll choose right here, x equals 6y plus 3. We just found y to be negative 1. So you're going to take that negative 1 and put it in here for y. X equals 6 times negative 1 plus 3. X equals negative 6 plus 3. X equals negative 3. So the smaller one. So the smaller number, to answer the question, the smaller number is negative 3. The larger number is negative 1. That's what you should have down. Number 3. Number 3 says Emma is thinking of two numbers. The larger number is 2 times the smaller number. Wait, the larger number plus 2 times the smaller number is 6. Twice the larger number plus the smaller number is 9. Find the two numbers. Emma's thinking of two numbers. I got a larger and a smaller. X equals, I'll make x the larger number, and y equal the smaller number. Again, it doesn't matter which one is smaller or larger. Now, this sentence says the larger number. Okay, x is the larger number, plus 2 times the smaller number is 6. So there's one of my equations. X plus, oh, goodness gracious. X plus 2y equals 6. Then it says twice the larger number plus the smaller number is 9. All right. Neither one of these is written into a situation where we can put it in the calculator right away or where we can do substitution. But what we can do to work on substitution, I can choose one of my two equations and solve for a letter. I'm going to take the bottom one right here, and I'm going to write subtract 2x from each side. And I'm going to have y equals negative 2x plus 9. Now I have a y equals, so I'm going to take this and put it in here for y. It's not the only way you can do it, it's just one of the ways. So instead, when I rewrite this top equation, see it says x plus 2 times y. Y is negative 2x plus 9. And that equals 6. So from here, my x comes down. 2 times negative 2x, negative 4x. 2 times 9 is 18. And that equals 6. Put these together. Negative 3x plus 18 equals 6. All right, simple solving. Divide by negative 3, and I get x to be 4. All right, so I have one of my answers. I have x is 4. I need to find y. So x is 4. That means 4 is my larger number. So let's take this equation right here, and let's put 4 in here for x. So I get y equals negative 2 times 4 plus 9. Y equals negative 8 plus 9. Y equals 1. So what does that mean right here? The smaller number is 1, and the larger is 4. All right. Number 5. Take a minute, read this, and I want you to define your variables and try and write your equation. Please do write your systems. Do this now, please. So it says, Joel is thinking of two numbers. 3 times a smaller number. Okay, so it's got smaller and larger numbers. So I'm going to have x equals and y equals. All right. X, I'm going to make x be my smaller number and y be my larger. Now, listen, if you defined your variables opposite, if you made x your larger, then your equations, your letters will just be flipped from what I have. It says 3 times the smaller. 3 times, my smaller is x. If you made it y, it would have been 3y. Minus 1 is the larger number. So I have y equals 3x minus 1. There's one of my equations. The next one says 2 times the smaller, 2 times x, plus the larger, y is 9. 2x plus y equals 9. Now, I could do substitution on this one, or let me show you. Why don't we just, this one down here is really easy. Why don't we solve that for y? Subtract 2x from each side. Get y equals negative 2x plus 9. Let's put this one and this one in our calculator and find our answer. Let's do that now. So we go to the calculator, and I go to y equals, and I put in there, let me clear this out, 3x minus 1, and in y2, negative 2x plus 9. Now, I'm going to press second graph and go look in the table. What am I looking for in the table? Where what? How do you know where your answer is? where y1 and y2 are the same. And I just found it. Look, y1 and y2 are the same right here. It says 2 and 5. Now remember, we can also do that 3 wishes where you press second, trace, 5 for intersect, let the 2 lines graph, otherwise you'll jam up your calculator. And then you can press enter 3 times. And it tells you intersection 2, 5. So what that means, 2, 5. My x and my y, that means my smaller number is 2. Larger number is 5. All right, go to number 7. Right now, I want you to try and write your system. Define your variables and write your system. On number 7, it says Paul is thinking of 2 numbers again. Wow, they're thinking a lot of numbers, huh? All right, so I've got a smaller and a larger again. So x equals, I'm going to make it the smaller number, and y be the larger number. It says the larger number, y, plus 2 times the smaller, x, is 20. That's one of the equations. Y plus 2x equals 20. Then it says the larger number, y, is 10 less than. Uh-oh. Underline that less than. Remember I told you a long time ago, that's that trick. That 10 has to go behind. Okay, so you want to get in the habit of kind of underlining and drawing a line to help you remember. So y is 10 less than 2 times the smaller. 2 times the smaller, less 10. Be careful, because did you make the mistake in writing y is 10 minus 2x? See, that's not right, so be careful. Now look at these. I can use substitution on them. Let me make sure I wrote this right. The larger number is plus 2 times the smaller, yes. Okay, so on this one, I'm going to subtract 2x from each side. I get y equals negative 2x plus 20. Really, if you guys can get them in y equals form, that's the easiest thing to do, because now we can just go put it in the calculator. Go to y equals, and I'm going to put in there, maybe, if it'll ever let me here. And it's not. It's being silly. I'm going to put in there negative 2x plus 20. And in y2, I'm going to put in there 2x minus 10. You can either go second graph and go look in the table. I don't see it right off the bat. Does anybody know what it is? Or I can go second trace, 5 for intersect, and enter 3 times. Right here. Now, here's why you didn't find it. Look, it's 7.5, right? The 3 wishes, that second trace, 5 for intersect, that's the only one that's going to give you your decimal answers. So, wait, what did it just say? 7.5 and what? 5? Okay, so, hello, come on board. So I had 7.5 and 5. Well, that can't be right. What happened? Because isn't x my smaller number? 7.5 and 5. So the larger number plus 2 times the smaller is 20. The larger number is 10 less than 2 times the smaller. Well, what happened here? 4x. I'm trying to do it in my head here real quick. Well, golly gee. I'm going to come back and try and figure this out, because I look at the smaller and the larger, but it's not how I define my letters. So that makes me confused, but I know that I wrote it right. The larger number is 10 less than 2 times the smaller. So I'll come back and look and see what's going on before the end of this. So let's look at number 9. Look at number 9. It says the length of a rectangle is 3 less than the width. The perimeter is 80 centimeters. Find the length and the width of the rectangle. What you're going to find more is people are going to write, they're going to use L for length and W for width. Now it says the length of a rectangle is, now look, it says 3 less than. Underline that less than. That 3's got to go at the end. So it's got to be the width minus 3. Length equals W minus 3. The next sentence is normally always going to tell you the perimeter. The formula for perimeter is 2L plus 2W. So I'm going to have 2L plus 2W equals 80. Now for this one, let's use substitution. Take what L equals and let's put it in here. So I have 2 times, instead of the length, I'm putting in there W minus 3 plus 2W equals 80. All right, you got to do the distributive property right here. 2W minus 6, and then just write the rest of the equation. Plus 2W is 80. 2W and 2W is 4W. Minus 6 is 80. Add 6 to each side. 4W equals 86. This one's going to be a decimal, huh? Let's see. What is 86 divided by 4? Anybody? 21.5? 86 divided by 4, 21.5. Okay, so my length is 21.5. Not my length, sorry, my width. Width is 21.5. So now take your equation. I'm going to take the length is the width minus 3. So the length is, if I know the width is 21.5, what's 21.5 minus 3? Should be 18.5. All right, let's try number 11. Oh, I went backwards. Sorry. There we go. There we go. Well, I need to make this a little smaller so we can see it all. All right. Craig has 4 more nickels than dimes. If he has 80 cents, which equation can be used? Which system of equations can be used to find the number of nickels and dimes? Okay, so all we're going to do on this one, we're not going to solve it. We're just going to write it. I'm going to write N equals the number of nickels and D equals the number of dimes. How do you represent nickels as a decimal? That's a good, I heard it, 0.05. Well, they're going to try and trick you because they're going to give you answer choices that say 0.5. What is 0.5? That's 50 cents. A nickel is 0.05. A dime is 0.10. All right, so the first equation says Craig has 4 more nickels than dimes. All right, does he have more nickels or dimes? Nickels. His number of nickels is the dimes plus 4 because he has 4 more nickels than he does dimes. Now, you could write this a different way. Instead of this, you could write, like say I move this 4. If I move the 4 to the other side, how do I move it over to the other side? Can you just put the plus 4 on the other side? You would subtract it, right? And you could have 4 or n minus 4 equals the dimes. So my point is, because you don't know which one, if it's multiple choice, if they use this equation or this one. Now for my solving, I'm just going to go ahead and go with n equals d plus 4. Then it says he has 80 cents. So I'm going to take 0.80 times the number of nickels plus 0.10 times the number of dimes, and that equals 80 cents. You know what? I'm a fibber. We are going to solve this one. We're going to go ahead and do it because it's set up for a system, or for substitution. Circle what n equals, and let's put it in here for n. I get 0.80 times, instead of n, I'm putting d plus 4 plus 0.10d equals 0.80. All right, let's multiply right here. 0.80d plus, somebody put in the calculator, what's 0.80 times 4? Is it 320? Shouldn't be negative because these are both positives. 320 is, or 300, is it $3.20? Plus 0.10d equals 0.80. Put your d's together. You get 90 cents d plus $3.20 equals 80 cents. Subtract 320 from each side. 0.90d equals, what is, now why is this not working? I already can see it's going to be a problem. Anybody tell me what's going to be a problem? Take 0.80 minus 320. It's negative 2.4, right? It's going to be a negative number. And that's probably why at first we weren't going to solve it, because what it wanted you to do was find the system. What they did was they took away the multiple choice ones. They wanted you to be able to write the system. And a lot of times when they do that, it's not that it works out nicely. So we have n equals d plus 4, 0.80n plus 0.10d equals 0.80. And see, if you come through here and you start working out your problems when you're dealing with nickels and dimes, when you're dealing with money and you come up with a negative number, now we've got a problem because you can't have negative number of dimes. Okay, so normally that means you need to go back through and see where you messed up. But I'm going to double check something. I'll be back with you in just a minute. Okay, so I went back through and I was reworking this problem, this last one. And if I go back and instead of using this system of equations with these, if I go back through and use the dimes are the nickels minus 4. Remember I talked about moving that 4 over there? And then I use 0.05n, which by the way, that's supposed to be 0.05. Minus 0.10d equals 80. Now, if I go through and I put this in here for d, 0.05n minus 0.10 times n minus 4, 0.80. And I don't know what I'm seeing on the other one that's not why it's not working. But anyway, when I go to do this, I get negative. Oh, no, wait. Why am I putting negative? Guys, man, my brain is like gone here. 10n minus 0.40 equals 0.80. Well, now when you put these together, you get 0.15n minus 0.40 equals 0.80. Add 0.40 to each side. 0.15n equals $1.20. And if you divide by 15 cents, n equals 8. So that means I've got 8 nickels. Well, the dimes are the numbers of nickels minus 4. Dimes equal 8 minus 4. Dimes equal 4. So, and if you calculate it, 4 dimes and 8 nickels is 80 cents. I don't know why when I go through and do it this other way, why it's not working out. But when I shifted the equation around, now when I solved it, it does work. So now I need to go back and try and figure out, what was the thing I was trying to figure out here? Oh, this one. All right, so I'll be back to figure this one out.